Another week, another episode. Vince?
Yes.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Episode 17 of The Clinical Dose. First question.
Fasted weight training. Best supps to prevent muscle loss or even gain some muscle? From Nanny_Rezul from Instagram Q&A.
Nanny, why are we training fasted with weights? I don't understand. I don't understand. Vince, you know, like I train in the mornings.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you actually saw me at the gym this morning.
I train in the mornings.
I train at 6 a.m. in the mornings. Vince trains in the mornings as well. I get up at 4:30 in the morning to make sure I have a pre-workout meal. 4:30, 4:45, I'm having my pre-workout meal.
Yep.
I do my morning routine. I'm at the gym by 6 and I'm training fed, not fasted.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. I don't understand.
I don't know.
Enlighten me, Vince.
This is interesting because I was speaking to someone today and they train fasted as well in the morning, and they said they feel better training fasted.
Nah, it's bullshit.
It's just I don't know whether it's just like you feel lighter. And
Listen,
but
each to their own. I am very strongly of the opinion that fasted cardio, fine, no problem.
Yeah.
Weight training fasted is, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
It's really not ideal.
Yeah.
And there's really no excuse for it either. Get up a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Get your meals in. Make sure you're fed. And you're just going to perform better. And if you're performing better, you're going to stimulate more muscle growth. You're going to train harder and burn more calories. It's just like, it's everything.
Yeah. I would say the same thing. I mean, I've fallen into this thing because I've just really started training in the morning, where I wasn't used to getting up earlier and eating in the morning, but now I'm trying to get in and get my pre-workout meal in.
Yeah.
And if I'm not, probably the best supps to kind of take you out of that fasted
Yeah,
state
that's a good question.
would be an intra-workout carb or something like that.
Yeah.
Even if you're mixing it with your pre-workout to get a carb in, or an intra-workout carb to give you some form of glycogen.
Yes.
For your workout, so taking you out of that fasted level, and then still using all those supps like your BCAAs, your pre-workout, whatever you're using, your protein after a workout, but getting those carbs in during to help you perform.
Yeah, I tend to agree. If you absolutely are going to train fasted for whatever reason, and listen guys, each their own, some people like training fasted, whatever. If that's your preference and it suits your lifestyle and that's what you're going to do, the best supps to prevent muscle loss or even help your performance are going to be intra-workout aminos, intra-workout carbs.
Yeah, and probably a cluster dextrin or something along those.
Ideally, yeah. Ideally, cluster pure from Creation is going to be the shit.
Exactly.
Next question.
Do you mix professional and personal other than family? From t.j.bubble from Instagram Q&A as well.
Oh, I think it's probably directed at me.
It's definitely directed
to you. Can you answer this question? Is this even applicable to you?
I don't think so, to be honest.
Fuck it, just handball it. Well, I mean, obviously my immediate family works in the business. My mother, my father, and my sister. So obviously that professional and family is completely mixed.
Yeah.
So far as my personal life outside of my family, I mean, it depends what you mean mix. Like, my partner and I, my partner works in commercial real estate, which is, there's a lot of overlaps between what we do at MassiveJoes with retail stores and what she does with, commercial leasing.
Yeah.
So there is, it really depends how you define mix.
I reckon they're looking at, you used to be very heavily across your socials.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of your personal life through your social media accounts and stuff like that in terms of business, because that's a heavy business side for you.
Yeah.
And you're probably not so as much anymore.
Yeah. And I think, it's a good question. Actually, it's funny that TJ Bubble has asked this question in Clinical Dose because I got a very similar question in my Instagram Q&A over the weekend. And I didn't answer it because I just ran out of time. I had so much shit going on. But I did get a very similar question. I think the reason why I don't share as much of my personal life, not just with my partner, but generally my personal life on social media, is because when I went through the breakup of my previous relationship and the breakup of my marriage, my divorce, one of the things that I was really able to give some conscious thought to that I'd never really given conscious thought to it, I just kind of just went with the flow, was what exactly is it that I want to share, particularly on social media, and what sort of audience does that attract?
Yeah.
And I found like I was sharing a lot of my personal life, and this was really the first time that I was actually able to consider this. I was sharing a lot of my personal life, and therefore the audience that I was attracting was not necessarily the audience that I wanted to attract.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people following me, to spy on my personal life.
Yeah.
Well, spy is probably not the right word, but who are interested in the ins and outs and the nitty gritty of what I'm doing personally. I want people to engage with me on social media and follow me because they're inspired by fitness, they're inspired by business. I give them valuable information that can help them improve their lives through health and fitness. Those are the sorts of things that I want people to follow me for. Therefore, that's the sort of information I should be sharing on social media.
Yeah.
So when I was able to give that some conscious thought, it became very clear to me that my personal life was and the ins and outs of my personal life were things that I didn't want to continue sharing on social media because it wasn't attracting the audience that I wanted to attract.
Yeah. There you go.
Really.
Yeah.
And it sounds very kind of, businessy, but the truth of the matter is, guys, Massive Joes was built on social media.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've always looked at social media primarily as a business vehicle, but more than that is really like an information distribution vehicle, whether it's information on supplements, apparel, workouts, diets, all of the shit that we do as a business at Massive Joes, whether it's videos on YouTube or Instagram story or Snapchat or Facebook or whatever it is. It's a vehicle to distribute information for the purposes of running a business. That's how I've always looked at it. That's kind of how I'm wired.
Yeah.
So when I look at it in that scope, that's really when I was able to give the conscious thinking. That's why I kind of pulled back my personal life from socials.
Yeah, and you see it a lot different now in terms of advertising kind of your professional athlete career now as well through your social media compared to your personal life before as well.
Yeah,
So,
100%. I've just kind of, switched directions a little bit.
Yeah.
Next question.
For a clothing brand like TMJ, do you use worldwide trademarks or just Australia? From Nathan Seal 355 on Instagram Q&A.
Isn't this a timely question?
It's another handball as well.
Do you know the answer to this question,
I don't.
Or is this Clinical Dose with Joe this week?
Clinical Dose with Joe, there you go.
It's a good question, Nathan, and it's something that I have a lot of experience with. A bunch of viewers would know that I went to law school as part of my tertiary education, and one of the things I majored in was intellectual property law, which is trademarks and copyrights and patents and all that kind of shit. From a TMJ Apparel perspective, we really haven't gone down the conventional intellectual property path, primarily because a lot of that law now is really outdated, and really the way that the theory works is still similar, but the way that it works in practice just really doesn't apply anymore. So there's a lot of protections from intellectual property that are related to first use of trademarks that you don't actually need formal trademarks in place. Copyright is a big one. So you can't actually apply for a copyright and have copyright protected. Copyright is something that automatically takes place through first use of different types of material effectively. So from a trademark perspective, from a worldwide or Australian trademark, we actually don't explore either. We rely on the copyright protections through first use and that section of intellectual property law.
There you go.
Boom. Next question.
What's a good percentage body fat for building muscle? From Clacky on Instagram Q&A.
Oh, this is a good one for you, Vince.
It is.
It's right up your alley.
First of all, it's going to depend on gender. It's going to be a big one as well.
Yeah.
And then it's going to vary person to person as well.
So let's go general, male, female. What do you reckon?
So for male, in my opinion, anywhere from kind of your 12 to 16%.
Okay.
In my opinion, you do want to stay a bit leaner. As you tend to go higher, your hormones do change as well.
Yeah.
Estrogen tends to get a lot higher. Testosterone will drop a little bit as you put on more body fat.
Yeah.
So that tends to change things. Females, I'm not 100% sure on the actual normal percentage body fats for females. So you're probably going to have a better idea here.
Yeah.
But I believe it's anywhere around kind of that 18 to 24%.
I was going to say 18 is pretty lean.
Yeah.
25 is, once you start going over 25, you're kind of getting a little bit out of shape. So I'd say 18 to 25.
Yeah, because I was going to say a lot of kind of females who train tend to sit around 20% in off season and stuff like that.
Yep.
So anywhere from that kind of 18 to 24% body fat, I think it's going to be ideal for that optimal hormone balance.
Yeah, and there are individual variances. Everybody has what we call a body fat set point. So, there's some guys that walk around at 8% shredded, their hormones are fine, they feel fine, they're not excessively hungry.
Yeah.
And then there's other guys that, if they're not really strict with their diet, they might roll around at 16 to 18% body fat.
100%.
I think, specifically when you're looking at building muscle in particular, I think the highest you should go in body fat should be the lowest amount of body fat that you're able to maintain where you feel good.
Yep.
Right? If you're too lean and you're starting to feel hungry all the time and you're starting to feel fatigued all the time and your sex drive is not where it usually is, which generally means your hormones are not where they need to be, and you just generally don't feel 100% all the time, you're probably a little bit too lean. And generally, the same thing happens when you get a little bit too fat as well, is you start feeling a little bit sluggish, a little bit lethargic, you know, you're not hungry when you should be hungry, you know, you just feel a little bit off. That's probably a sign that your body fat's too high. So I think the percentage body fat that's ideal for building muscle, without getting into actual numbers, because it does vary person to person, is the body fat that you need to be at that has you feeling at your optimal all the time.
There you go.
What is it for you?
I tend to sit a bit high. I tend to gain weight pretty quickly. Probably sit a bit higher, probably around kind of the 14 to 16 kind of percent. I tend to feel good. Anything above that, I do start feeling tired, slow, and stuff like that.
And so I'm probably a little bit less than that. Like where I am right now, I'm probably around about 12% at the moment, and I feel fantastic. So for me, like I don't need to get fatter. If I get leaner, I start feeling, you know, a little hungry, a little tired, just not 100%. So for me, it's probably around the 12% mark.
There you go. Yeah.
Last question.
Can other stimulants besides caffeine in a pre-workout cause an energy crash? From Brooke S, and this one came from YouTube.
That's a great question, Brooke. Actually, you know, whenever we talk about crash, it's always related to caffeine. What's your opinion, Vince?
Absolutely. And I think if you go back a few years when some of these now banned substances were in pre-workouts.
DMA, DMHA.
I think I was crashing after every workout. I'd get a good, I would get a good 1 to 2 hour workout in, if not longer. I would go home and fall asleep. And that's things like your DMA, your DMHA, even now Eridurensis, different doses, J-Regi and stuff, which is now banned, I believe. All those kind of stuff.
Eridurensis fucked me up, man.
I remember
like, that was one, like if I saw that on a label, I'm like, no, I'm not. Because for me, it wasn't just an energy crash, it was a psychological crash as well. Like I would feel like depressed post-workout. I was like, this is fucking shit.
And it's really going to be anything that handles with your central nervous stimulant, central nervous system stimulants. And that's where you'll see even illegal drugs, recreational drugs, do the same thing. And that's why you're seeing some of these stronger stimulants from pre-workouts get banned. Because they are kind of reporting properties of similar things to recreational drugs.
100%. Generally speaking, what comes up must come down.
100%.
So,
there you go.
You know, any stimulant that, by nature of being a stimulant, stimulates you, there's going to be the other side of that. You know, depending on how strong the stimulant is and how much of it you take, generally relates to how bad the crash is on the other side.
And if you're constantly taking too much on a constant period, not letting it come down, when it comes down, it's going to feel even worse because you're used to this high.
100%.
So,
That's it.
That's it.
We made it to the end. Vince? Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it for today.
Before I tell the viewers to hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. Turn your post notifications on, your mobile, your cell phone, your desktop PC, your laptop, your tablet, your television,
everything.
Everything. Just turn all the notifications on so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel, including all of these up-to-date, recent weekly episodes of The Clinical Dose. Until next time, we'll be coming to and from Vince.
MassiveJoes.com.
Stay massive.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.